family, how is everybody doing? How is everybody doing? I hope everybody is having a wonderful day. I hope life is treating you well. I hope you have your libations. You are sure to need them. We're not going to go in long today, fam. We're not going to go in long. I don't think we're going to have to. But we just have to say a couple of things about when we see that things are orchestrated, right? We have to say that. But before we do that, let's get down to business as we always have to. Let's get down to business really quickly. Really quickly. If the fam is doing all right, I'm doing all right. So listen, fam. Please do not forget to hit that like button. If you are in here, hit that like button for me. If you are in here, please hit that like button for me. Please do that. Please hit the subscribe button. If you have not subscribed to the channel, now is the best time to take care of that. If you want to donate, as always, donatebrown.com, patreon.com/ycarnell. You can go to subscribe-to-brown.com, subscribe-to-brown.com, and go and give me your email address so I can send you out news you can use. For right now, all of that good stuff. Hit that bell to get notifications. I try to send out a Twitter alert now. But just in case, make sure you hit the bell to get notifications. And please do not forget July the 30th. That is the last Thursday in the month. We will be reading this book. Immigration and the Remaking of Black America by Todd G. Hamilton. Please do not forget that. Please do not forget that. You are going to need that. Please do not forget that. We're gonna, because we always anchor everything we do. We anchor everything we do in what, everybody? Political education. That's what we have to do. So please do not forget that. Please take care of that and get that all the way done. I would appreciate it. Now listen, we got to get down to what we got to get down to. And this is what we got to get down to. A lot has been happening in the news. And Obama had people like, why do you talk about Obama as much as you talk about Obama? Well, look up this picture right here. Obama is a busy man. And I just want to make sure when we talk about Obama, let me bring this one up a little bit bigger, that we understand the context. Because we don't have to go in deep to this one. I'm going to listen to what you all have to say. But I had to say this because I anticipated. Sometimes something happens where you anticipate saying something and you end up saying something else. That's why you should always just leave everything open for yourself. So Obama, use of force. Pay attention to those words for me, please. I would sure enough appreciate it if you would pay attention to that. Obama and use of force. Now, why is that important, everyone? How many of you watched this? This is the Obama Foundation from earlier today. Uh-oh, I put that thing wrong. Hold on a second. From earlier today, Obama. And I was wondering, why is he having this conversation? What is he doing? What is the point of this conversation? He's been talking a lot and he hasn't really said anything that mattered. So I said, maybe he's having this conversation because he's previously made missteps. Maybe he's having a conversation because he doesn't feel like what he's came out and said before is good enough. So maybe that's why he's having the conversation. Aha. But I know. Remember those words. Because remember I said, family, language is important. So remember those words, use of force. So Obama calls on mayors to review use of force policies. And understand something. I want you to understand that this was very orchestrated. Because when he said this during this Obama Foundation, during his My Brother's Keeper thing that was on, when he said this, something happened almost immediately. Fam, did anybody else pick up on what happened? Did anybody else pick up on what happened the minute Obama came out? I just want to see if anybody saw what I saw. Did anybody see what happened the minute he did that? He was talking to a bunch of people. He was talking to some kids, and Eric Holder was there saying stuff that, they said it was local people and that you had to deal with the local government. That's fine, but you were president and you didn't deal with the federal. So stop calling on me to do stuff when you didn't do your part. But pay close attention. I just want to show you what everybody was saying about, use of force. So why is that important? Why is that important? Well, it's important because like clockwork, something happened. Like clockwork, something happened. I'm trying to see it in the chat. Did anybody come out and say anything? Did anybody say what it was? Okay, let me show you what happened after that. Hold on one second. Too many images. Okay. Like clockwork, all the mayors across America came out and said, Obama, we accept the Obama challenge. We accept that we're gonna do from DC. Let me bring this up for you. He said use of force. Everybody came out. I am committed to the Barack Obama mayor pledge. We must. This is Muriel Bowser. We must, DC, we must all commit to take action to address the concerns of our residents and to take steps to continually improve police-community relations. All of the mayors came out. How can this be at one time if it's not coordinated? Everybody coming out at the same time. Atlanta accepts the challenge. Barack Obama, I will issue an executive order establishing a commission of stakeholders and organizers to examine our use of force policies and call upon them to make recommendations accordingly. Right? And not just, we're not talking just black or white, everybody. Here we go. Took the pledge. The Barack Obama, proud to have one of the most progressive use of force and use of force investigation policies in the nation. Hartford. Everybody came out at the same time saying they accepted Obama's pledge to review. Understand, a commission is what's set up to absorb the energy most of the time, not all the time. That's why I have my issues with HR 40 and all of that, where the enthusiasm dies. Everybody came out. Mayor Lori Lightfoot has signed on to the pledge organized by Barack Obama to review the city's use of force policies. Use of force. Now, I want to show you something that kind of goes to why this is a problem before we get to the other part of it. So, important story. Officer who knocked over a seated protester just before a peaceful protest against police abuse turned violent has been reviewed by Internal Affairs for using force 79 times in his roughly 3.5-year career. Now, understand that he was not out of there. Understand that he done allegedly been slapping everybody around, slapping people on the back of the head, pluck, 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 plop, plop, kicking them. He done look 79 times. So with use of force, you're asking the police counter to police the police in a certain way, right? But it was orchestrated. So everybody's asking, what are we gonna do? The Negroes got in the street, then regular white people was in the street, then it was some wild white people with black on and hammers and stuff in the street, and we don't know who all of them is and we got to get these people off the street. So how can we do it? Who will the people listen to? Where will we send a real initiative to die? Well, just get Barack Obama out there to say a use of force, and they can all say they're going to review their use of force. Everybody go back in the house because we're going to review use of force. Don't come outside and protest. We're going to review use of force. Ain't that enough? Enough from who though? Because Flint still got dirty water. So enough from who? When we talk about enough, who are we talking about? Because it seems to me that this is a dodge. And it seems to me that this is a dodge orchestrated. I don't know who put up, whether Obama did this or somebody put him up to it. But now what's going to happen, if you haven't seen the play already, the play isn't about fixing race. The play isn't about reparations. The play isn't about making us whole. The play isn't really about doing something substantive and significant over the long haul. The play isn't about putting power in the hands of people. The play is this. The play is to get everybody to review a use of force. And you know what a review does? I tell you again, family language is important. A review says, we're going to take a look at this. I ain't promising you nothing. I'm going to take a look at it. And another thing a review does, a review takes a long time. So you tell somebody, shush, 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 shush. We're going to review this now. Now you give us time to review it. While they reviewing it, the enthusiasm dies down. People ain't in the street no more. Everybody took the Obama challenge. The pledge, I'm sorry. The Obama pledge. Everybody took the Obama pledge. So it's all good now. It's all good in the hood because the hood still kind of respects Obama. Well, kind of, I don't know. If Obama says it's all right, then maybe it's all right. He says the Obama pledge. That's why we got to be finished with Obama. See, if we can see Obama for, that's people say, oh, Yvette, why don't you say more about Trump? Listen, we all have a consensus, me included, that Trump is a horrible president. I don't have to help nobody understand something that we all accept as fact. If you know something and I know something and we both know that thing that we know is the same thing, like if me and you both know that gravity exists, I don't have to come out and explain you, hey, don't jump off the top of the building because there's a thing called gravity that's going to pull you to the ground and splatter you. I don't have to explain that to you if you understand gravity the same way I do. I don't have to have that explanation. So I don't have to explain to anybody that Trump is horrible because we all have that. We all understand that. There is a consensus, you understand. But with Obama, nobody understands the detriment that he has done in terms of how much black wealth, what little existed, was eviscerated during his administration, and how many white millionaires were created. You don't understand that. We don't understand it as a group. And until we come to terms and have a reckoning with Obama and how he is being used, and not just used then, but being used now, understand that he has just put himself in a position to be used to squash this whole thing. That use of force thing is being used and is going to be used. All the mayors are signing on to it. It's going to be used to squash this whole movement. Right? So everybody's going to say, well, because you can't, because now you can't undo it. Let me tell you why you can't undo it. All of these people like this, like all of these people, hold on a second, have been coming out and saying wonderful things about Obama. See, the problem is you can't be out just running around saying wonderful things about Obama and talking about, oh my God, he's so much better than Trump. He can speak in complete sentences. Well, that's kind of a low bar, right? But even if that's the case, and it is, you can't just be, I wish we had Obama back. Ain't that what they've been saying? Ain't that what everybody been saying? Oh my gosh, I sure do miss Obama. I sure do. I miss Obama like a bee in my sock. But people have been going around, I sure do miss Obama. So if Obama comes out and tells you what to do and tell you that a use of force review is what you need, then you haven't left yourself a lot of room to say, no, I don't want that. That's not what I want. I want something transformational. I want something to make ADOS whole. I just don't want something to try to fix police brutality. You haven't left the space to say that. And all the people who are saying what Obama is saying have something in common with Obama in terms of their background. Right? In terms of, I have never said, let me just make sure I'm clear before I go on this far. I have never said that you have to be a certain kind of black, or you always have to be poor, or you have to be lower middle class or whatever to kind of speak for, or middle class to speak for ADOS. I've never said that. What I have said is that we are disproportionately represented by certain classes of ADOS or ADOS whether it's immigrant ADOS or ADOS that's anchored in whiteness by one parent, or ADOS that's boule, we're disproportionately represented by a certain group. So the group that feels the brunt mostly of the boot is not the group, and it's not the activists that are at the forefront of leading the conversation. That's not to say who's blacker than who. That's about proportionality. Why are we disproportionately led by Obamas and the people who are like him? And I say that to say this. Immediately after Obama came out, and let me just say this. Samuel has had some really good data. This is a man who is really good with the data. He's just not good with the lived experience and the lineage. And salute to you with the data, because I believe data is important. I absolutely believe that. But I believe this 8 can't wait thing is a dodge. So let me just show you what it is. Let me just show you what I'm talking about. And we're going to talk about you in just a second too. We ain't going to go on too long today, fam. You're going to get a chance to call in today. But let me say, we just launched 8 Can't Wait, a campaign to get mayors across the country to immediately adopt these 8 use of force policy restrictions that can reduce police violence by I mean, she meant to say up to 72%. Check it out at 8cantwait.org. Let's talk about why this matters. Right? Okay, well, let's talk about it. So let's bring this up a little bit more. Bring it up so everybody can see. So police departments that have adopted these use of force policies kill significantly fewer people. And one of let's go through all the 8. Exhaust all alternatives before shooting. Require all use of force to be reported. Ban chokeholds and strangleholds. Establish use of force continuum. Require de-escalation. Duty to intervene. Ban shooting at moving vehicles. Require warning before shooting. Now let me tell you something. There has been a law on the books. There has been a law on the books, ladies and gentlemen, for a very long time that says, I think the Supreme Court actually ruled on that you cannot shoot somebody in the back. That is a law. That is the law of the land. Like when they running away, like that's the law. Guess what? Y'all remember which one was it? So many black men and women getting killed. I can't keep count. Which one was it? Walter Scott? Didn't he get shot in the back? So having a law or a rule like that, this kind of moves as if this is a raceless country, right? So as if we're Norway. And so Norway just maybe got some poor people and don't shoot them and whatever. You have to understand that this is a slaveocracy, and all policies have to move with that, because that is who we are. That is what this country has made us into being. So when I look at it, I ask myself, like, sometimes I ask myself, like, well, why doesn't this person understand this? That, like, this isn't the thing. Like, this isn't the thing that's going to move the country. This isn't the thing that, like, fixes ADOS. And what I've realized is that sometimes you have to understand that everybody doesn't have the context from their lives. I talked the other show about Fannie Lou Hamer, right? And I said that one of the reasons I bring up Fannie is because she reminds me of so many of the black women who, you know, great aunt in my life. So that's why I brought her up. But I don't know if you can fully understand a Fannie if you don't have a Fannie in your life, if that's not part of your lived experience. That's why we always say lineage matters, right? It doesn't make you any less black. This has never been about black. But this is about, like, Obama. We understand Obama, Kenyan, white American, right? So when I come to you, I see sort of the same story that seems to be disproportionately represented. My mom's family is Jewish. Her mom narrowly escaped the Holocaust in Poland. Her dad fought in Korea. They weren't happy about the situation. That's kind of silly. Now let's go to the dad. My dad came from Tanzania at age 24 to attend school. He didn't understand American racism and was blindsided by it. I can't imagine. I think that's probably true. But do you all get to the point I'm making? The point I'm trying to make is this. Let me bring the bottom part up. Hold on a second. Their first visit to Grandpa's house, he threatened my dad, yelling slurs and firing off a shotgun outside. One of many stories I've learned. That's an interesting story. It's just not my story. And I'm not saying that the data that you have provided is wonderful. I'm just saying that, like, I don't know if you can, outside of a theoretical framing, really, you went to, like, your parents met at Cornell. Isn't Cornell Ivy League? So you were a legacy Ivy League, right? I think too much of what we do in terms of, like, every movement has to have a heartbeat. What happens is that every movement has to have a heartbeat, but what happens is that you are kind of far removed from it in a sense. And so you don't understand that, yes, you are making a contribution, and yes, we value your contribution, but it's you can't be the heartbeat. And that's why you think this whatever this was, what was it? 8 can't wait. You thought the 8 can't wait was the thing, right? That's kind of where we are. And there's and the reason we're disproportionate is not because of anything you did wrong. It's because that's who gets into these schools, right? So how do you have? I mean, I'm trying to put it in a, like, yes, you're doing the right thing in terms of your data, right? But how do you understand, like, when Walter Scott was running from police and got shot as he ran away and he owed child support or something? How do you have context for that? Like, and how most ADOS people who didn't go to Stanford and who didn't go to Cornell, or who didn't beat all odds to go to Stanford and Cornell because they grew up in the ghetto or grew up in low income neighborhood and didn't have parents who went to college, and nobody ever talked to them, nobody ever read to them, a mother might have been on drugs, a daddy might have been in jail. The heartbeat isn't there. You didn't suffer the cost. Your people didn't suffer the cost of redlining. That's not a cost that you bear. And so then the question becomes, if you went to Cornell and you went to Stanford and you were a legacy at Cornell, just like Obama was a legacy at Harvard. This story kind of mirrors an Obama story. Like, if you haven't been suffocated by race, how can we trust you? I mean, I don't think you're wrong. I think you really believe in a sort of class-based way that this 8 can't wait can work, but it won't. You have to fix race. That's why the last time I looked up that you really talked about reparations was like 2016. I haven't seen much from you on it. And that's, maybe, I'm just speculating here, but maybe that's because you know you wouldn't get it, right? And so you want to deal with other things. You want to deal with class-based economics. I'm just not sure. And that was a good piece. You should have stayed on that road. I don't know why you didn't stay on that road. I have my suspicions. But then here was the kicker for me. I always have a kicker. Here was the kicker for me. Like, you were kind of gaslighting people on Biden in a sense. Like, I see some people on here asserting that Biden doesn't have a policy agenda for Black America when his agenda for Black America is clearly posted online. Now there are things to push and critique about the plan, but saying it doesn't exist is a lie. See, this is gaslighting. This is gaslighting. And I say that for this reason. When people talk about, or either it's gaslighting or you don't have any kind of relationship with Black America, so to say. In the sense of, nobody's saying that. I said that Biden had a Black agenda, that first Black agenda he had, right? It's not transformative enough. But the other part about it is, who trusts Biden to do it? So when you talk about that, nobody's saying that every candidate put a black agenda online. Don't act like you don't know what we're talking about. We're talking about, how do you expect the architect of mass incarceration to do anything? We are talking about a transformative black agenda. And if you don't know that, like with ADOS reparations is the heartbeat and a real black agenda, next to it. If you don't know the conversation that's been happening here in this space, then I don't know how you get to talk for this race. Right? I don't know how, like, we're almost in a space where there are people who really should be like support mechanisms. It's almost like a body supports the heart, right? The heart has to send blood. Because I said, ADOS has to be the heartbeat. We have to be the heartbeat. You're not the heartbeat, though. That doesn't mean everything in your body assists with everything that you do. Nobody's boxing you out. But you're not the heartbeat. But you've stood in as the heartbeat. Right? And you wear your little hat so we don't know what's going on. You stand in as the heartbeat. But you ain't the heartbeat. That's where we are. And it's the same thing with Obama. And it's the same thing with you. We keep coming back to this place. Like, that you think that's enough. Let me bring this up. Well, no, I don't think that matters. But this is what he said about the 8 can't wait. What's also important about this solutions area is that mayors and police chiefs can change their policy right now. They don't have to wait on the city council or the state legislature. They can commit this and take act on now, whatever. Gobbledygook. Okay, let me go on to the next one. I think he's trying to say they can do it by themselves. These policies are a first step. They raise standards of the police department and make it possible to hold officers accountable if they violate those standards. Next step is strengthen accountability structures, police union contracts, community oversight to enforce the policies. Right? So here's the deal. Here's what I'm going to say, fam. Here's what I'm going to say. And I try to say stuff not to be offensive. Right? But the real truth is, I don't even know how we got here. I mean, I've been talking about it and I've been saying it and we've been talking. I don't know how we got here to where, like, the person who is representing us here is the Stanford person. I don't know why. I don't know. And it's not like people, and then people always take that wrong. What you saying, Yvette? You can't go to Stanford and do nothing? What'd you say that for? We want everybody to go to college and stuff. I agree. I absolutely agree. That's not my issue. Why do we always have to be represented, though, by that? Like, why do we have to be... You have not lived the life. You have not been suffocated by what ADOS does. So, of course, it becomes theoretical to you because it's not a lived experience. It's not all around you. It's not an all-encompassing gas. So, of course, this is not like... And we almost got... It's almost like you can't even say what it is. So you can't even say, like, hey, you don't get, oh, well, you're trying to, who are you to question somebody's blackness? You ought to be ashamed. Who are you to say? Nobody said nobody's not black. Hush. What I'm saying to you, and I've said it before, is that trying to fix race, like, it's almost like, okay, we had this whole thing with Keisha Lance Bottoms, mayor of Atlanta. And I'm going to show you how it's trying to fix race by just a piecemeal is like playing whack-a-mole. So you have this whole thing where she's the mayor of Atlanta, right? That means that she's a big dog in town. It's the most of black city by hair, apparently. I don't even know if that's still true or not. But most of black, and she running the city, right? Well, you have it now. She just got into it. Well, I didn't want to say get into it because I don't know what happened behind closed doors. But her police chief sends out a memo, tells the police, yeah, I wasn't really, I agreed that the officers, you all remember the officers. If you don't, go see my Instagram. I believe that these officers should be fired or whatever, who pulled a Spelman and Morehouse student out the car. But then you come around and say, right, I believe, but then hold on, let me bring it up. I got it in here somewhere. Because I just want to bring home race, right? So you got it in here. Hold on, let me see. I got it in here somewhere. Anyway, though, what happened was she actually fired, but then there was a DA who decided that he was going to prosecute the officers. Black DA, black mayor. The black DA who got his own set of struggles, so it might be political because ain't he been accused of, somebody let me know. Ain't he been accused of fondling somebody that mayor or something like that? I can't remember exactly, and I don't want to talk about anybody's business in the wrong way. But that's what happened. So you have a mayor. So the mayor clashed with the doggone police chief, I think. The police chief said something about, here it is. Atlanta police chief says charges against officers are political. Hold on. Police Chief Erica Shields told Atlanta police officers Monday that her firing of 2 cops involved in an excessive force arrest during Saturday night's protest was justified, but said criminal charges filed against them by Fulton County District Attorney Paul Howard was a tsunami of political jockeying during an election year. That's something to say right there. You might be right, but I don't know if you get to say that as a police chief. She also said in the memo to all APD employees that the charges have caused multiple agencies to end their support for the department and ongoing protests against police violence that entered a 6th consecutive night on Wednesday. Shields said the officers were fired because they turned what should have been a routine interaction into a violent encounter. But the chief said she never discussed charging the officers with either Howard or Mayor Keisha Lance Bottoms. We created chaos and we escalated a low-level encounter into a space where we introduced violence, Shields wrote in her memo. Once this occurs, we need to own it. That's true. Now that the charges have been announced, I'm very concerned with the space we find ourselves in, both tactically and emotionally. Multiple agencies were assisting us in managing this incredibly volatile time and have pulled out, effective immediately. They were not comfortable with their employees being leveraged politically by the potential of also facing criminal charges. Now, What you see here, ladies and gentlemen, is a white police chief in the midst of asserting authority and power in the midst of what is supposed to be a black infrastructure. But ladies and gentlemen, I will say this to you, that this is not necessarily a black infrastructure as you would think. This is white capital, and you have to attract white capital and protect white capital, right? As a mayor of any big city, and that includes Atlanta, what do you think the most money comes from? You had Keisha Lance Bottom write an article in the New York Times that says, I can't even protect I called my son and said, I can't even protect him. Remember, she made that speech. She wrote an article about it. If you have a black mayor and the police chief is a certain more power, looks like, an authority, and then she says when the stuff broke out, I don't even know if I can protect my own son, that should tell you that race is the problem. Because if you had a lot of black capital, you wouldn't have to worry as much about white capital. Yes, we got some little restaurants and stuff. And yes, I have said on this show that we should do our best to protect those little businesses that we do have. That was part of my problem. The Latinos and Mexicans was out protecting their businesses, I heard, and doing a bunch of other stuff, I heard, allegedly. So that was always a part of my problem. But let me just say, if you have a mayor who is sounding this kind of defeated and muted in a sense, you have to understand that this is a racial thing. And this is a thing that has to be fixed with race. You just can't fix it with one mayor or two mayors, or how many black mayors Atlanta done had. Don't work that way. You can't fix it that way. You got to fix race. You don't fix it with the 8 can't wait. You have to make us whole. And that doesn't just happen with a check. That's a multi-generational project. You have to keep infusing and feeding resources in this community until we have a sameness about us. That doesn't come with a check. That comes with ownership, sometimes even mentorship. If you have businesses and people have been doing business and have plundered us, you have to do everything you have to do to make us whole. I'm sorry. I don't need to compete against anybody else either. I used to say on this show, treat me like a white woman with a cat. But let me just say this too. Treat me like a spotted owl. You know how you can't do no damage? You can't cut down no log or no tree if the owl is asleep in the bush. Do no harm. This is not a check scenario. This is about policies and protections. There's no reparations without a multi-generational project. Now, if you don't want to do that, you can just dodge and say, the 8 can't wait. The 8 can't wait. But the 8 can't wait is not reparations. The 8 can't wait don't fix race. The 8 can't wait doesn't transform politics. The 8 can't wait doesn't transform us. Neither does Obama. Everybody has to come to terms. And it's not my fault. It's not your fault. Well, it might be some of y'all's fault. I don't know. But you have to fix race, because the creation of race. You think about how insane it is for Indians to come over here, Indian Americans, people who come over here from India, to come over here and be darker than 2/3 of ADOS. And they get to be made white and we're still called black. This is some weird stuff. And people say, Yvette, you sound like you don't like to be black. Listen, I understand that this whole thing was made up by white supremacists. I don't want to fully adopt anything that they made up. Because if they made up and they created it for a reason. They created it for me to adopt it and make that my world and be okay with being tethered to this class, to this bottom caste. And that was never who we were. I've said it 1,000 times. We are a unique amalgamation. We didn't build it that way, all the way from slave rape to the Irish and in some places and ADOS getting together. All kinds of stuff happened. All kind of wild stuff happened to us. It's not our fault. We didn't sell us to the white man and we didn't buy us from Africans. We didn't do none of that. And we're realizing a lot of stuff. We're realizing how unempowered or disempowered even black political figures are. We're realizing black celebrities can't help us. How many black celebrities came off and said something stupid? LL Cool J just stomping in the morning time with a gold chain around his neck and red eyes. Get somewhere and sit down. What are you doing? I don't know what Taraji P. Henson was talking about. Did the Gucci store do something to you? I don't know what she was doing. I don't know what none of these people was doing. Then we're going to talk about, well, to the Pan-Africanists, I wonder what Africa is. Have they sent ships for us? I just don't see it. I just don't see what everybody else sees in terms of, listen, and you have to stop believing that there are other options. I hear that too. Well, I know, Yvette, I would like reparations, or reparations initiative, but you know that's not going to happen. So I'm just going to take the eight by the weight, or what they said it was. What's the name of the little program? Let me bring this up again. What is it? What is it? The 8, what is it? Well, you know what I'm trying to say. I don't bring it up because I have any kind of personal animus. I bring it up because I know it won't work. I bring it up because the only thing that works is reparations. Nothing else works. If something else works, I would be for that. It doesn't. And it only works as a multi-generational program. You didn't see, like, even in Europe, you didn't see when after the Holocaust, you didn't see them just cut a check and say, we finished. No, and they all white. It's still a different scenario. I understand that. But they still paying, and they still trying to figure out ways to make sure everybody's okay. That has to happen here. There's no other way. And so, like, there has to be we got to stop playing, like I said before, we got to stop playing whack-a-mole. We can't do that no more. Ain't no more playing whack-a-mole. We're just going to fix this one thing. We can't fix the whole race thing, but we're going to fix this one part of it. What was it? The Kerner report way back when it said this is a bottom cast. And it has to be some kind of serious transformational politics to undo that. And that hasn't happened. And that transformational politics is reparations. And that reparations is not that you just give me a check and walk off. You got to fill this community with not only wealth, but the resources that we lacked and the protections that we lacked for generations. I'm sorry. Listen, it's just the way it is. It's just math. It's physics, like the person who called it. What was the person who called it? Like physics. It's physics in a way. So it's not like me calling for something. It's just what it takes for repair. This isn't hard. This is not complicated. But it doesn't take a review of use of force. That's another kind of bait and switch. That's not what we are. Right? So I think we have to understand that, not only that, but I think we have to understand why we stand on this square. I think we have to understand, because sometimes I think people will make us feel that we're being disagreeable. Like you just stuck on reparations. That's all you want to, because it's the only cure. It's almost like, having cancer. Somebody said, you just talk chemotherapy. Well, the doctor told you that's the only thing, that's what you need. And I don't want to hear from my fruit and vegetable people. I understand, health and taking care. Please, I don't want to hear from y'all right now. I'm trying to just make a point with an analogy. Don't come in here, well, Yvette, you can, you just need in your bloodstream, it's your pH. I just don't want to hear that right now. I'm not in the mood. What I'm trying to say is this is the only solution. You don't fix race, the creation of race, because it's not a real thing. You don't fix that by playing whack-a-mole. And you didn't even play whack-a-mole in a real way. Y'all let Obama come on and play that little game. This little orchestrated game he played today when he came on and said use of force. And all of a sudden, all the mayors came. This was a whole thing that Obama worked behind the scenes to kill this moment. Please understand that's what it is. He threw water on this moment with the review. He didn't make a demand. Understand that. He didn't come in and say we got to demand this from the police and demand this from the police and police departments. He didn't call on the federal government to dismantle police departments, which the Justice Department can do. Total dissolution. He didn't call for nothing drastic. He was the milquetoast man he always have been. The middle of the road, I don't stand for nothing and I don't know nothing. Obama. That's who he was. And we are going to allow that in the days ahead to call for a review board. And we're going to look to it, because it came from Obama, as something transformational, as opposed to what it is. Just a way to placate us in this moment. So, like I said, fam, I'm going to try to end it here, because I said I was going to end it not too late, since I came in late. But I just, I get frustrated because this is not a new game. This is not a new game that's being played. Like, we have seen this game be played by Obama for a while. And he swooped in and played the game again. And he looked very uncomfortable. Did anybody watch it? He looked very uncomfortable. But anyway, fam, let me go to the phones. Give me a few minutes, set it up as usual, and we will be back. What's going on, fam? We are back. We are back, and I'm gonna try to go straight on to the calls, so I can get in as many calls as I can. Please, 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 please be conscious and cognizant of other people who are calling in and want to get in. So don't do what somebody did last week. Well, what if this? And what if you can do? You got two what ifs. Then let's just move on. Thank you, fam. Let's go to the first caller. I'm going to 682. 682, what's your name? Where you calling from? What's on your mind?
Hi, Yvette. This is Areej. I'm from Austin.
Hi.
Hello?
I'm here.
Hi. So, I just wanted to thank you for your show, an ally, a crappy one that is slow to learn. But,
well, we appreciate it.
Yeah, so it's just, I think sometimes I feel like liberals are kind of an energy sink. It's just this show today hit me a lot because of when he talks about gaslighting, or this is a step forward, and it just wastes a lot of energy. At a certain point, I think some people are just not invested in transformative politics. So it's just, I was literally having this debate whether or not some people should just be left behind, and I should just, like, screw it, we shouldn't fight it anymore.
Wow. Well, I think, let me just say this. I think for some people, though, if your life, if you have a certain life, right, and your life isn't as bad as the ADOS life, like, that may sound good to you. Like, let's just move a little bit forward. But when you say we, it's not really we. It's me, right? It's not really we. So if you went to Stanford and you got all this and you probably live, it's kind of like I talk about the dude from Jacobin and then the other little dude I talked about. If you live a decent life and if you've lived a middle or upper middle class life, and you've had a certain amount of stability, that sounds reasonable. And I think what people don't understand is that the last thing we need right now is reasonable. Because reasonable doesn't fix us, but that's not your experience. And that's why I try to let people know I'm not trying to be discriminatory by saying, well, it has to be. No, I'm just saying there's a disproportional. We need his data. This guy we were talking about, this Samuel fellow. But, like, we don't need you to be the face of anything. Like, you've stepped too far into the limelight as it is. You should undergird some stuff, and there's a place for you. There's a place for you, right? But the place for you isn't in the front. Because you haven't lived that life. So I think that's what it is. It's just when you haven't lived that, or you haven't been around it, right? So you haven't been around it, you haven't seen it, your life has been different, you agree that some stuff is wrong, but you haven't been suffocated by it. It's different.
I can see your point. If you did not experience even a taste of that, it's just, people just don't try enough to gain insight. I agree.
So that's just my perspective on it.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
No problem.
And I appreciate your show.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you. I appreciate you for calling in. Yeah, I think, I think some people live a different life. And they don't even realize that the life is just different. It's like, well, I'm black too. Nobody said you weren't. Calm down, Kamala. Like, nobody said that. But your life as the daughter of immigrants is different. And just like Obama's life as the child of a white mother and a Kenyan father, just like Samuel's life as the son of a Tanzanian and the Jewish mother is very different. And you don't understand that you all are real outliers and aberrations. If you looked at the majority of ADOS, this is not their situation in their life. So there's a disproportionate number of you, like, in the forefront representing something that you don't fully understand and haven't lived. And that does a disservice to the voice, because you need a full-throated voice in this moment. You don't need no half-stepping. But you can't do anything but half-step, because that's like the way your foot is built. And it's no fault of your own. That's your foot. But, like, that's not the foot we need right now. You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't run. It don't pop on the ground and pop back up. You know what I'm saying? So I'm going to the next call. Let me see. Where am I going? I'm going to 720. 720, what's your name? Where you calling from? What's on your mind?
Hello. Can you hear me?
Can hear you just fine.
Okay. First of all, I would like to say to everybody in this room, please hit the like button when you first come in, and hit the subscribe button.
Thank you.
What they're doing here is very important.
Thank you.
Second of all, I would like to send a shout out to Tone and my boy Otis.
Oh, that's a good
I
shout
love
out.
hearing Otis and Tone and them talk. Now, to the former caller who said, who was just on the phone, I think that's most people's problem. They just don't understand. And I think black people's problem is we need to stop letting people tell us what we should do and how we should do it. I've been hitting you up all day long. Now, my plan for reparations, I'm really thankful for your show and for your movement because you guys put in work to put awareness out there, and I'm 100% totally behind you. I've been tweeting you all day in tweets to Bernice King and a lot of people. I have a plan for reparations. It's called Divide by 5. Now, you can check your tweets and you'll see it because I'll put it up there, and I've been sending it. I got your name, ADOS, all that, and everything. I've been on Twitter all day long.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Divide by 5 is America has to be reborn. That means we got to squash everything from the top to the bottom. It ain't you hit a key point, and I think a lot of people don't understand these words. A review means just that. They just can look at it. Don't mean anything gonna get done, and people need to be clear about that. I had somebody tweeting about we're getting some victory in L.A. I told them we ain't win nothing. We ain't win nothing until they break bread. And everything else that you're talking about, we don't win nothing. So anyway, my plan is Divide by 5. I suggest you look at it. And what it means is we need a do-over. We got to redo all of this, and we need to divide up them Senate seats, the Congress seats, every review board, the EOC. You get my drift. Every law enforcement agency, you divide by 5. Starting with Native Americans, Black, Hispanic, Asian, and white, because those are primarily the 5 races in this country. So if you divide up them Senate seats, the congressional seats, review boards, the Supreme Courts, all the state courts, local courts, all the state representatives, and all that, all the city councils, if you divide those seats up by 5, now everybody's getting a fair stake, and everybody getting a fair shake at the table because we got everybody involved. Right now, the problem is we're not involved. Fighting for a policy change, how are you asking the demon that's creating these policies to change? People keep saying the system is broken. No, the system is not broken. The system was designed that way. It's working the way it was designed. Ain't nothing broken about the system. They designed the system that way from the start. So we in the system. So my system is divide by 5. That way everybody's involved. Everybody has a seat at the table.
Everybody's involved. Thank you. I appreciate your call. Thank you. Divide by 5. I don't understand it, but go check him out. He said he tweeted me at least 34 times. So go check him out. Divide by 5. If you are so inclined. Anytime I start scratching like a puppy, something's wrong. But anyway, let me go to the next call. I cannot and I shall not. Let me see. 623, what's your name? Where you calling from? What's on your mind?
What's going on, Yvette?
What's going on? How you doing?
I'm doing good. This is Cash Capone out of Riverside, California.
Okay. What's going on with you?
So earlier today, I was down in Long Beach, and as soon as I exit off the freeway, I noticed they had state troopers pretty much spread out everywhere with guns, at least 10 hours before curfew was going to be set into effect.
Oh.
So we go down towards the water. They had like a little memorial type of thing for George Floyd, Trayvon Martin, a lot of people that was killed by the police. My issue, my problem with it, I've seen a lot of other groups, Mexicans, probably Chinese, other groups that was killed by the police. But when I looked up these people's names, these people were either pointing the gun at the police, or they were running after the police with a knife. It's just very interesting on how we're grouped up with people who are criminals when we are unarmed black men minding our own business, and we're gunned down and killed, and we're getting grouped in the category with criminals. It just blows my mind, and it just, you know, like I said, I was at Long Beach today, so a lot of things. For instance, they had this little board where everybody was writing like demands, and everybody would write these little weak demands like love and peace, and you know, and I didn't see reparations anywhere on there, so I had to write it about 4 or 5 times. You know,
good for you, fam.
Say it again.
I said, good for you, fam.
Yeah, I mean, I'm the only one out here in California. All my people are asleep. I constantly, you know, it's an honor that I'm speaking to you right now.
Okay.
It is an honor. I love the Breaking Brown show. Shout out to Tone Talks. I watch you guys every time you guys put out a video. I watch you guys' video. I try to turn my family onto you guys. Unfortunately, I've noticed a lot of the black people were still asleep. We've been rocked to sleep for many generations, and I feel like to some degree they're kind of waking up a little bit off of this George Floyd situation, but I feel like as soon as, you know, a week passes, everybody's going to go back to life like they always do. And once again, we're going to be getting shot down and killed in the streets, and nobody is going to, you know, hear our cries.
You know what?
Also,
go ahead, fam.
Yeah. No.
I was just going to say one thing, and I'm going to let you finish your thought. I was just going to say, you know, the only difference maker in that is that we're in the midst of I think everybody forgot about the coronavirus. Coronavirus has been out there running free. While everybody, and a lot of people weren't wearing masks and didn't have masks under their noses. Why do y'all not have the mask over your nose? You working my spirit. But like, I think that's the only difference maker, right? I don't even know if this would have popped like it popped had so many people not been at home, and people, they gave all the money to the wealthy and like gave us $1,200 and said, well, make it work, make it last. Y'all remember Friday when the lady said, well, make it last. She told what's his name? You make it work. That ain't enough. You make it work. They gave that money and said you make it work. So I think part of it. That's the only difference maker. But I do agree with you. I don't see people necessarily staying in the streets and doing all this stuff, right? I don't see that happening. But I don't even think this would have happened, this moment, had it not been for the COVID.
I mean, I got a few things to say. During the COVID, I went down by the beaches, for instance, and over by the beaches where the rich and the white, you know, the people that are wealthy, they got all the money. All of their businesses have been thriving. All of their businesses are open. I've seen bars. I've seen white people out drinking beer with no masks on, while all the rest of the minority communities were locked inside their houses. White people were out by the beaches, you know, living the high life. Out on yachts, drinking beers, popping champagne bottles, all types of stupid stuff. You know, a lot of stuff is just, if you're not really in these areas or going from the ghetto to the suburbs, you'll be really unaware of what's taking place in these different communities.
That's true. That's true. A whole different life. And let me just say this, Colin, before you go. That's a whole different life in a whole, like, that's just one aspect of what you say, like, in terms of they doing all this stuff during coronavirus. But the other part about it is this. They live a whole different life. Like, you know how you 8 hours you be on the job. You got to be there on time. You got to leave for lunch on time and come back on time. You go into these communities, they come to lunch and have a drink. You getting buzzed at lunchtime? And then nothing. Like, they just go back and they take their time, and you realize that, like, really this is American life, like, just not for us. So I agree with what you're saying. I'm just saying it's on so many levels.
My question is, what is the ADOS family supposed to do now that it really appears that our whole voice and everything has been hijacked, and once again, like always. And instead of the attention being on the descendants of slaves and reparations and what we need to fix this bottom caste group, it's more or less how we're going to fix America as a whole. And once again, we would kind of get pushed underneath the rug. What are we supposed to do if we can't even, you know, get most of our family members to jump on board, let alone our community? What do we do in these type of situations? Because it's bound to happen. History is going to keep repeating itself. You know, I was reading this book with, I think it was Farrakhan. I can't remember what it was called, but it had pretty much was going through the Watts riots. Okay. And what I was reading in this book was pretty much identical to what was taking place right now in 2020.
Okay.
You know, so it's
Yeah, just repetitive.
I mean, what is the black community supposed to do?
Well, let me just say this. Let me just say this, fam. I think, see, what has happened before, prior to this moment, is that everybody can just keep on living, right? Without, like, you might have not had the best pilot, you might have not had a good life, you might not have the best life, but you can believe you on Millionaire Street, and that you eventually gonna have a good life before the coronavirus. See, I'm wondering how much this coronavirus changes everything. When we look at how many businesses are going out of business, how many jobs are leaving, depression level, unemployment, I wonder how much these people are going to believe. See, right now people still floating on unemployment. They still floating on that 1,200 or 2,400 they got, depending on how many people in the household. What I'm paying attention to is what's going to happen when that money run out. Because I think you're going to have to realize, oh, I'm a Negro and I have no reserves and I'm about to be hungry. So I think a lot of people, you just have to, like, I don't know now. We don't know. We got to see. But fam, wait around till this stuff hits the fan. This ain't over. The Republicans said they're not giving no more money out. The Democrats don't seem too poised to fight. And if that happens, we done screwed the pooch. And I think you have a lot of more people who are very interested in talking policy because they're hungry. People ain't used to eating Vienna sausages no more. So, you know, people used to going to brunch and doing all this stuff. There's a lot of stuff that's about to change. And I wonder, like, if I hope that this becomes the moment to, like, okay, it's a pandemic. The life you thought you were going to have is over. Let's do this political thing. That's the moment I'm waiting and watching for.
Man, I mean, we've been waiting for 400 years. I mean, how much longer are we supposed to wait for?
You wait until you win. You fight until you win. If you in a ring with somebody and you fighting, and they ain't down, and y'all still socking each other, you can't be winded. You fight until you win. You ain't got no choice.
I just feel like I said, I left Long Beach, and none of them was speaking reparations. You know, we're in the heart of California. You know, if you got a majority of black people who don't even know nothing about reparations, who's sitting here, you know, talking about holding hands and drinking from the same fountain and all this watered down weak stuff, we're never gonna get there.
Well, I wouldn't say that. Every state is different too. Y'all got a lot of different stuff going on. Every state is different. But a lot of these people gonna hit the bottom in a way like this is a pandemic. Did you ever think you would live through a pandemic and go to the store and everybody got on masks? Like, that's something that we could not have predicted. But I think, you know, it could impact us in a way that we didn't think. Now, because people ain't gonna have no money. Now, you know, we don't know for sure. But, you know, it's just, you just fight the fight. That's kind of what you're born into, and you just do what you're born into. That's if you're born into it, that means you built for it. Like, that's the way I look at it. If I wasn't built for it, I wouldn't be born into this thing. I'd be born into to something else. So this is what we're born into. That's what you're built for. So I think things are going to change. This money is about to run out. People are talking a whole lot of love, but this money is about to run out, and then the poop is gonna hit the window fan.
Oh, facts. Yeah, definitely. I mean, we right around the corner from that. That's inevitable. But see, when the shit hits the fan, black folks, especially if we don't have the resources, you know, or the you know, the finances in order to buy small things like eggs or toilet paper, you know, we're really in a bad situation.
Yeah, we're in a bad situation, but sometimes not having toilet paper is what it needs to show somebody in a bad situation. Like, when last time you went took a poo and you had to take a shower because there wasn't no toilet paper? Like, sometimes the same thing I said about Vienna sausages. I like sardines, so I can't say that. But like, it's the same thing. Like, some people need that to be like, this ain't working.
Yeah, true. Well,
thank you, fam.
Everybody put their seatbelt on. Thank you for your time. Man, enjoy the rest of your night.
Thank you. You too, fam. I appreciate you. Yeah, some people gotta have that. Some people gotta have that. They feel like they own Millionaire Street. Some people need to feel that. Like, oh, this ain't what I thought it was. This ain't what I thought it was. I got 2 eggs to last me for 4 days, and that math ain't right. I'm not gonna have enough calories. My body gonna start eating a little bit of muscle up. Good God Almighty. You ever been in that? You ever been through that? Anyway, fam, let me go to the next call. I'm going to 212-212. What's your name? Where you calling from? What's on your mind?
Hey, Yvette, hold on a second. Let me get this on my speaker off. Okay. Hi, Yvette. You're speaking to Sloan. You well?
How you doing?
I'm well. Can you hear me? Are you well?
I'm well. I can't complain at all. COVID
Okay,
free.
good. Listen, real quick. I'm not going to be long at all. First of all, just about Obama, man. My question really is it's Obama. I thought Biden is sort of the head of the party, weirdly enough. So is it Obama or Biden? What's going on here? Is Obama now leading Biden? That's confusing to me. Anyway, the other thing about Obama is interesting. I wonder what's happening. He's supposed to he's supposed to be the face of an African basketball league. So he's quite a busy person here. It seems to me. And the last thing I just want to bring up is that I've been. Because of all the stuff happening, I've been listening to a lot of Kwame Ture, Stokely Carmichael, back in the day.
Okay.
And one of the things about SNCC, the reason what they had to do is because all the white people were coming down, sort of taking, positions of authority, like treasurer, whatever have you, because they would have the skills. But they had to get rid of them. They had to sort of jettison the white folks because if it looked like the white folks were sort of liberating the black people will always keep the same savior. So it's a big problem. So anyway, that's all I want to say real quick.
Thank you,
Y'all take care.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you, fam. I appreciate your call. I appreciate it. We're going to keep it moving, fam. We're not going to stop. We're not going to slow down. That's what Cat Williams said. Well, didn't they kiss Cat Williams on the tricycle one time? See, I'm not stopping. We're not stopping. So I'm going to 412-412. What's your name? Where you calling from? What's on your mind?
Yes, my name's Michelle, and I'm calling from Pittsburgh.
What's going on, Michelle? How you doing?
I'm good. How you doing?
Pretty good.
I'll be real quick. I think the problem is it's multi-layered. It's not even from the generations behind. I mean, we got redlining, economic, political, education. And one thing I did notice, like, with all this, like, pandemic going on, is where's Farrakhan? Where's Sharpton? Where's Jesse Jackson? Where are all these leaders, these quote-unquote black leaders or whatnot, that's supposed to be, having some type of
Sharpton's been out. Wasn't he in Minneapolis, everybody? Sharpton's been out. I think Farrakhan's just old, probably, Minister Louis Farrakhan. I think Reverend Jesse Jackson hasn't been in good health. So I would guess. I don't have any inside knowledge.
Mm-hmm. And I think it's just more of like all the stuff that we've been going through on so many levels. It's just coming up now, and I'm just thinking about. Also, there's no there's no distraction from the majority of the population, or even from like our community. Like if there was sports going on right now, then I think it wouldn't be as intense as it is now.
I agree.
Because
any kind of distraction, like
the
I agree. Ain't no concerts, ain't no sports, ain't no nothing. Yeah, I agree. And people poor, they can get no paycheck. Yeah.
Exactly. So, and then you look at the just the economic future of all this going on, and then you have like the president who just who doesn't have like basic common sense to have some type of plan in hand just for emergencies, period. So not even this. He's like hiding in bunkers or whatnot. He's saying stuff that I wouldn't even say like a normal president would say, but at least one who kind of knows politically what or what not to say. And so it's just all this conjuring up, and then so just looking at the futures look like so bleak for like a lot of people, because like they don't even trust the political leadership that you have on the our community level, let alone on the majority level. But that's all I wanted to say. I just wanted to hear your response to that.
Thank you, fam. I appreciate it. But yeah, I would definitely agree to like there's no outlet, right? So even like she's talked about sports. Sports is one thing. There's no concerts. People can't even really go like some restaurants. Like I think Georgia done opened up everything, but like people haven't even been like able to go to bars or whatever. And even if they can, like I don't even know how much money people have to like spend. So there haven't been many outlets in terms of what are normally American outlets. And people are frustrated, right? With the life that they're living right now. And so I think me, we're all seeing some of that. I'm going to go to the next call. I'm going to 770. What's your name? Where you calling from? What's on your mind?
Hey, what's up, Yvette? This is
Hey.
Ian from Atlanta.
What's going on?
Not much. I'm the one that everybody loves to hate. I know everybody knows who I am. They try to play like they don't, because I like to keep it real about their feminist implications into the movement, which basically is the same principle as the immigrant. You know, if you look at the immigrant moving into the space of ADOS, feminism has basically done the same thing. But that's not necessarily all I want to talk about. But I think a lot of people are sapiosexual. You know, they love intelligence and they're attracted to intelligence. And I don't think that a lot of the message of ADOS and reparations is sinking in, because people they really don't understand the center of reparations is that you have a lot of people who are not eating, a lot of people who don't have jobs, you know, a lot of people who are not able to live the American life. And I think that Obama has snuck his way in, because you have so many people that love intelligence. You know, even amongst ADOS, you have a lot of ADOS who like to pontificate and like to talk. You know, they got all the ADOS talking points, but like you said, they still are not the heart of this thing. You know, because like me, I've been beat up unconscious by the police. You know, I've been hungry. You know, I've been accosted by the police on my own campus. You know what I'm saying? My brother got a felony. I'm just saying, I got a litany of ADOS experience that tells me that reparations is the only thing that we should be talking about. So I'm not really coming on the phone to be like, you know, hurrah, you know, I love you to death. You know what I'm saying? But I don't like the fact that I have to have a conversation and I got to be online 24/7 to monitor what's going on. You know what I'm saying? That's not fair. That I have to put that much energy, you know what I'm saying, into just living a normal life where white America, you know what I'm saying, they can be dumb as a rock and not involved in politics at all, and they're good. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just saying, I think a lot of us are not really taking this serious, because I see a lot of people a lot of us ADOS getting online, and they're happy that they're winning arguments, but because they're not they're not winning the heart of the people that they're talking to. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people don't like me.
Well, let me just say this, fam. If you online a lot that much, you online too much. You have to take some time to do self-care. You can't be online that much. The second thing I would say is this. Winning arguments is still good. Like, let's not discount the value of winning arguments. Like, everybody can't play the same role though. So like, you can't get frustrated because somebody else is like, see, I don't really have a problem with this Samuel fellow who I put up earlier, except that I think he's in the wrong role and he's disproportionately represented. I don't have a problem with him. I just want your role to be different because of how you were raised and everything like that. So I think like winning that argument is a good thing. Like, if you can get there and you get with somebody and they're, because there are eyeballs all around, and you win that argument, that's a plus. I don't think it's necessarily a good thing to say, well, they won the argument, but the argument's not the whole game. Yeah, that's true. You may have more of those experiences, and that's true. But you can't get frustrated, because that's still a win. Like, now it's different if the person who won the argument is Boule and like they want to just run roughshod over everybody else. Then it's like, hold on, pump your brakes. But we're talking about like a Twitter debate. So like that's a good thing. There's no reason to like get frustrated. Sometimes you have to just understand and just back up. Like, okay, what am I getting frustrated over? This is a debate, and that person just won the debate for my side. So what is the frustration?
Well, you know, I had an experience. I went to the Million Man movement. That was the second Million Man March, there I was selling T-shirts, right? And it was spelled, my friend came up with an idea, NIGGAH, and it was an acronym for a positive thing, saying that we should be the ones to determine our own identity. You know what I'm saying? This is before ADOS. You know what I'm saying? So I've been all over the place trying to find an identity until I found you. But these guys were angry at us because they assumed that we came with these nigga T-shirts and we were trying to mock what was going on. So these 6 new Black Panthers, all dressed in black, looking angry, they came up to me. I was at the front. My 2 friends was in the back. You know what I'm saying? And they're like, okay, what's going on? You know what I'm saying? You playing games, so they ready to fight. You know what I'm saying? Off the rip, they're like, hey, this word nigga. You know what I'm saying? It's a trigger. You know what I'm saying? That's how we do. We get to talking and cursing, and then we get to fighting, and someone's dead. I said, no. You know what I'm saying? And this was back in 2008. I said, no, that ain't why we fight. We fight not because of the words. The words are why we fight. We fighting because we're hungry. But I'm saying, I knew that back then. I was in college. I'm trying to figure out, people are arguing from points. I'm saying it's not anything wrong to argue, but when you don't attach it to something real that we're not eating, you can win the argument, but really not win. You know what I'm saying? The heart of that person. Is where I'm coming.
Yeah,
from.
but sometimes, but with some people, you don't need to win the heart. Like a lot of these people don't. Some of these people who we're debating, I don't know if they have hearts, right? So and they're just kind of intellectually minded, and I think with them you can just best them online, and they don't want to be embarrassed, and that has an impact on them. And I think we all have to be aware that everybody plays a role. That's why even with what I discussed today, I'm not necessarily trying to extricate anybody. I'm just saying everybody needs to be positioned and there has to be proportionality. Everybody plays a role. And I think there's also a certain thing you can't get too invested necessarily online and stuff like that because you feel like I'm being burdened, I'm doing too much. Sometimes you just got to take a nap. Sometimes you just got to do some self-care. Sometimes you got to take a bubble bath. Like you just can't be doing everything all the time. Like, and so I think that's a part of it too.
I mean, but if you miss one little thing, you know what I'm saying? That's just like, the guy just called in. A lot of people don't know that Sheila Jackson was out in Houston where there was 50,000, and she was talking about reparations. You know what I'm saying? She kept saying that over and over again. So the thing is, because we don't have our own media, right? You not only have to be astute to win the argument, but you have to astute to even know where we're at, because nobody's going to tell us whether we're winning or losing. At no point do we know whether or not we'll live. You know what I'm saying? Tomorrow we could get reparations and not even be aware. You know what I'm saying? We could be this close, or we could be a zillion miles away. But if we don't stay on top of this, you know what I'm saying, like a mad person, we'll never know. And that's an unfair place in position for us to be. And that's the one thing that really fuels me. Well, I gotta be on top of this 24/7.
You don't gotta be, but no, you don't. No, I'm gonna let you go, and I'm gonna answer this offline. Thank you for calling. But no, ain't nobody gotta be on nothing. I understand what you're saying. She was here, and nobody know. But let me just say this: she don't really matter. Like I don't know why people like Sheila Jackson Lee doesn't really matter. She's running around like throw everything. Like this is a moment. Like she don't really matter like that. She just running around here like. If there's one thing you take away from this, even when, like, I saw a bunch of people get happy, Bob Johnson, no, like, we matter. We matter. Like, the drivers of the movement that drives this is ADOS. Right? And yeah, we got allies and all kinds of, but to be an ally means you're still a part of the ADOS movement and understand what is old and that reparations is the heartbeat, and then we have a black agenda. Like, we are the heartbeat. Like, we are the thing. Like, if we're not in the thing and supporting the thing, it's nothing anyway. Like, we have driven this whole thing to the point to where everybody is talking away. You hear everybody say, well, what about reparations? You weren't hearing that 3-4 years ago. We drive this. Like, understand who you are. Understand who we are. We don't follow nobody. People follow us. That's what we built, even as this small little gaggle. That's what we built ourselves into, this little crew of it. And we have infused the thinking of a bunch of other people who may not even speak our name, even though they should, right? And so I think you have to understand who we are and understand that, like, I don't gotta go chase nobody. We are ADOS. We created this space, and this, so we don't chase people. People chase us, right? And we co-sign stuff. We don't need to race and chase nobody to co-sign them. The energy's over here. Sometimes you just got to feel what the energy is. The energy is with ADOS. It ain't nowhere else. Ain't nowhere else. Ain't nobody else doing nothing. Everybody trying to do stuff and talk big, but ain't nobody doing nothing in terms of like the work of Black agenda and what ADOS needs. But ADOS, this is us. You don't got to run around. You ain't got to be online 24 hours a day. Take your butt to sleep. Take care of yourself. How many times have I mentioned self-care on this show? Anyway, I am going to the next caller. Hold on a second. 404, what's your name? Where you calling from? What's on your mind?
Hello, Yvette. This is Dawn from Atlanta. How
Hey,
are you
Dawn.
tonight?
I'm doing pretty good. How about yourself?
Good. So I actually, a couple of people have made a couple of points. So I want to go back to what you were talking about with Obama and the fact that really he was blocking, right? And gosh, are we so used to people blocking, right? Tackling and blocking for other people to calm us down and then basically kind of diffuse us.
Absolutely.
And I think what you said that's really interesting about the young man, I think maybe that just called in or maybe before, because I could even tell in his voice he was weary, he was kind of frustrated, he was tired. But I think that just from listening to a lot of the younger people, I don't know if you remember, but both of my children are in college. My son just finished his freshman year at Morehouse.
Oh, good.
My daughter's at UGA, so it's really interesting that the young man that got put out in the door, the girl from Spelman, like he knows them. And so it's been really interesting to hear all the young people's opinion. And so when you start talking about Obama, what I'm listening to, and I'm listening to them, they're done. So when he talked about, like, kind of where do we go from here, and your comment about people need to get hungry, they need to understand. And so I was listening to a podcast of these three millennials out of Atlanta talking about the whole Mayor Keisha Lance Bottoms, and they were basically saying in 2014 they started organizing. They started, they were marching with Michael Brown in 2014 when Michael Brown was killed, and they said, we want to be really clear, we're tired. The reason why people are burning things up, they're like, if I had something flammable, I would burn this up. They were like, we're mad because we've been talking since 2014. And they were talking about that they literally put together all kind of reducing police brutality. They went down a whole list of working with the mayor. At the time, it was Mayor Kasim Reed. Of course, now it's Mayor Keisha Lance Bottoms. But they were just talking about how even when T.I., so people that are not in Atlanta, T.I. and Killer Mike, although I'm cool with, like, I'm okay with them, but they basically said they feel like all of it is kind of, they said, lead Atlanta, this very small group of people that are trying to protect their own stuff. Because one of the things that the mayor said, they said, you know, we're sick of it, we don't care. The mayor said, if you burn down part of the west side, T.I. and Killer Mike on a lot of that, you're burning down black businesses. And they're like, but that's for a small group of people. We don't care. We're not invested. You haven't listened. So I thought what was interesting listening to them, I think people are at that point where do we go? Because one of the things they mentioned, they said, you told us to vote, we vote. You told us to march peacefully, we did all of that. You told us to work with us, you come with your ideas. We've been doing this since 2014.
Well, I think, let me just say this. I think you could take it back further than that. You could, they've been doing it since 2014. Like, you're talking specifically about Atlanta. I think the problem people have is that we have been doing it as a group since well before that. So what happens too is that, and I think what happens too is that people got to stop asking for just like one thing, like the end of police brutality or whatever. Like, police brutality is a consequence of, like, you're on the bottom, so nobody cares. Like, you're on the bottom. Like, you're like, they have weird positions, the people in, like, India who pick up poo. You're a bottom caste, so this is how you get treated. But I agree with what you're saying. Like, this is an enclave, right? So it's an enclave for some people who have something. It's not an enclave for, like, to try to create opportunity for everybody. So they're kind of saying that they're just kind of fed up and they don't care. I understand what you're saying.
So, like, to segue from exactly what you just said. She literally said, well, it was like there was two young men and a girl, and she said that what we realized, and became very blatant, all of this hustle culture, that we realized it doesn't matter what we do.
Nope.
It might be one or two of us that make it out, but whatever we're born into is where we're going to stay or we're going to drop. And so it was just
And that's
really
backed up by data.
very straight.
And that's backed up by data.
Huh?
I said, and that's backed up by data. You gonna fall, like you either you.
Exactly. So it's 100%. I think, gosh, a couple of years ago, I think you put up an article about 70 or 80% of black children born in the middle class
fall into the bottom, fall into a
class.
lower quintile. Yep.
Yeah. So I remember that show, and it's interesting that they're saying that without a change, the voting, the asking, the working, it's not going to move people that have a vested interest, and basically they sell out. So to them, and it kind of gives me a different point of view, because I was like, how does this help to burn things down? They're like, it ain't ours. We don't own anything. You think we care? And nothing else is working. And in their minds, they feel like this is kind of working and getting people's attention. But I just wanted to let you know that, one, I want you to know that I don't know, as I listened to them, I did not hear reparations. I was waiting for them to move to, yes, you're rioting, but really the ask and the demand is going to be, how do you become whole? Because the reason why you're so frustrated and you don't see a way out is because we're bottom cast, right? And so I think that's the leap. And I think what you were saying earlier about, I know you like sardines, I do not like sardines, but whatever that thing is you don't like and you're forced to eat, at some point people are going to realize there's no way out of this. But they're getting it. I think they're truly starting to understand, and it's going to take a little bit more hardship.
But let me say this. Those young people need to understand one thing, though. Keisha Lance Bottom could end all the police brutality in Atlanta. To where Atlanta police, if they stopped you, they shined your shoes. That would not make your life, it will make your life better in terms of how you move around, right? That would not make you whole. You would still be poor. Like, I don't think people understand that, like, what you need, what they're even arguing about. Because they're arguing about, like, I don't own nothing. That's arguing about ownership. That's not police brutality. Like, that's what you're arguing about and saying, I burn stuff down because I don't own anything. That's not police brutality. You're not burning stuff down because the police pulled you over and mopped you up last week and you know, and socked you out. That's not what you're doing. So what you're arguing over is something that yes, Keisha Lance Bottom can help fix it, and yes, your leadership in the state can help fix it, everybody from governor to state rep. But what you're really talking about is a federal reparations movement. That's what you're really fighting for. And I need people to understand that, like, that's the thing. That is the thing. Because even if the police don't beat up another Negro in Atlanta, you're going to still be poor. You get treated that way because you are poor. You get treated that way because you are bottom caste. You don't get treated that way just because the police like to beat up people. You get treated that way because I'm in a black neighborhood. They have guns. They're bottom caste. I got to just whoop people and pull out my gun or whatever, and they don't matter. These people don't matter because of who they are. That's why you get the stuff, the way we get treated so disproportionate. So I just need people to understand that, like, it's not just about like police brutality. Police brutality is a consequence of race, and in terms of how we get disproportionately, you know, beat up and kicked on and shot at and shot. That is race, and you have to fix race. So I just wish we could just focus on that thing.
I agree. One last thing, and then I'm off. One of the things that was really interesting, going back to what I was telling you about, you know, my son's at Morehouse, and one of the things that they all said is that only some Black lives matter, and they really were offended that there was so much protection put around the Morehouse and Spelman student, but how many people have been hurt during these riots, have been brutalized. So I thought that was all. They went through a whole segment of talking about there shouldn't have to be this, these are good kids because they're in college and look at what they're doing. It doesn't matter. Even if you have a criminal record, why should you be brutalized? So I thought it was interesting that they're slowly but surely kind of understanding that kind of, political correctness. Yeah. Or basically, if you don't have a clean record, that you can't be upheld. Your life means nothing. Yeah. That reminds me of Rosa Parks. The reason why she was picked is because she was so squeaky clean, right?
Yeah.
And so for the movement. So
Picked
anyway,
over
that's
another
all I
one, yeah.
have. But again, I think people are getting closer and closer. They don't understand about reparations, about kind of where they really are. And by them hitting bottom and not seeing that way out, maybe they'll finally get it.
All right,
Thank you.
fam. All right, fam. That's a good place to end. And thank you for calling. Yeah, I think they're going to have to. I think sometimes people have to bottom out. And there's nothing you can do about that. We didn't cause none of this. So, but that's just what it is. And so sometimes people have to like hit that. And then you realize like, wow, like this is really life. 424, I'm coming to you. 424. What's your name? Where you calling from? What's on your mind?
Good evening, Sister Carnell.
Hey.
This is Ishmael Bartley out of Riverside, a.k.a. Kevin Cosby Jr., the young preacher out here just trying.
I remember you. How you doing? You doing all right?
I am superb.
Okay.
And I woke up the other day, and I was in a Twitter fight with Roland Martin
Child, that's
on
everybody.
the life of ADOS. Don't you have something better to do? Don't you have some garage, something like to shoot the show in your garage or something?
Nope.
I'm still speechless behind that. But I just wanted to talk for a moment, if I could, about the rapid memorialization of Brother George Floyd.
Mm-hmm.
There's been this rapid cycle of memorialization, and then a move to localize the incident, because already. You know what a compote is? My grandma used to make compote, peach compote, and where they boil it all the way down, and it becomes like this spread that it went from being a piece of fruit, it got boiled down to being this spread that you could either spread on bread or add to something else.
Oh, that was all right. Yeah, I know what you're talking about. That's all right there. Night compote is good.
Yes, ma'am. Well, we've been talking about how Adolf's life has been reduced to a compote. Instead of having a full life and being accepted and acknowledged for having a full experience, because you go someplace and you let your humanity hang out. You go to a white church, and then all of a sudden your black humanity starts hanging out, and they try to help you find the door. Because what never happens is space is never created for for Adolf's humanity to live. Because once your humanity is manifest, then they gotta acknowledge the claim that's associated to your humanity.
Oh.
And just where I'm going with that is, so they quickly want to memorialize Brother George. He was murdered. We watched a lynching, murder. They smoked him. You know what I'm saying? And everything that goes into it has pushed people to the brink of no more. I mean, regular folk now are talking about, we could have took him. You know what I'm saying? I mean, you know how you ever almost be in a fight, and then when you walk away from that, you're thinking about how I could have took him. If that ever happens again,
you gotta measure it. You gotta measure it. Yeah, you gotta measure. You think about it. You gotta think about it. She looked like she got fast hands, but I don't know. I could have just socked him. Yeah, you think about it. Yeah, I know what you mean.
People are talking about, we had numbers on them. You know what I'm saying? So now folks are saying that if it ever happens again, I'm gonna take one. You know what I'm saying? I could have went low. You could have gone high. People are not. I mean, that is the reality that people are assessing, and this has pushed people to a place of no return. And so to de-escalate that, they have turned him in. They're trying to reduce him into a memorial that they can now use to season this stew that they make and try to serve to the masses that will help us to return to the status quo. Because what I've been hearing all over the place is these dog whistles that are trying to call people back to the status quo. Like young people, I hear y'all getting involved, but don't expect change to happen overnight. That's a lie. I've seen change happen over 2 or 3 nights. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
I mean, I keep hearing them say things like, your girl, the police chief in Atlanta, with Sister Bob, and y'all need to get y'all mayor. Y'all need to come get her. You know what I'm saying? Today on CNN, she was caping for Biden. I mean,
she's been caping for Biden. But let me just say this. That's the thing. See, that's the thing. But let me just say this, fam. That's what we don't understand. I get on. We talk about the CBC, or Keisha Les Bottoms, or all these people. They all cape. And what happens is you realize, yes, we got to call them accountable for caping. But the other part about it is race puts you in a position. Like if you were the mayor of a big city like Atlanta, how much of your job, and I said this, but let's just reiterate it. How much of your job is trying to pull in white capital and protect white capital? Now, see, how much of that has changed if black capital exists? How much do you cape? And I still believe these, I agree with you, they all going overboard, just hugging and grabbing and grinning. But how much of that do you have to do if there's actual black capital, right? So I run a group that's kind of money, and I don't need to, like, I can have a serious conversation with you. I ain't got to rub up and hug you and tickle you in the belly and you go, kiki. I ain't got to do none of that. Right?
Yes, ma'am. Oh, none of E. Well, the answer is E. None of the above. You know, none of the above. Because I'm here and I'm serious. And when your girl, when the chief of police stood up there and said, "I know these cops. They're good people," and I've heard several agencies say, "I know that they're talking about the reprehensible behavior of their officers. I know these cops. They're good people." No, they ain't. Because their behavior, their immediate behavior is demonstrating the exact opposite. And I'm just trying to tell you. And so now we're on the world stage. And it's just more important for ADOS more than ever to stay on your square like y'all been talking about. Stand on your square. Sharpen your rhetoric. And because now the engagement is much closer. We're going to City Hall on Friday, and we're going to take a small group. And I'm going to tell them we got a small group. But y'all know I could dog whistle real quick and tell them y'all down here, because there's a sister here locally that's talking about a lifeline protocol. You know, so people felt powerless, but what needs to happen is you need to have a lifeline. There needs to be publicly broadcast a lifeline. You need to be able to call a supervisor. You know what I'm saying? That can get on the radio to somebody that's on the scene and immediately intervene under those kinds of circumstances. And if they push back on something like that, I'm telling the homies, and I'm 46 years old, but I'm liable to throw a brick myself.
Don't throw no brick, sir. You're a preacher now.
Yeah, well,
I know Jesus turned over tables, but calm down. You gonna.
I'm gonna take 30 seconds and I'm gonna hang up. That would be the King of Glory, Jesus.
He finna preach on y'all.
Is the Jesus of empire. You know what I'm saying? The Jesus of empire is the bedwitch of empire. You know what I'm saying? The Jesus of empire, he's been complicit with America for about 400 some odd years. When the Wesley brothers came over here and started the first Great Awakening, you know what I'm saying? John Wesley went back to England. Charles stayed over here because he was able to stomach slavery, and the Jesus of empire was right there with him, co-signing. You know what I'm saying? And I think you might hear an ADOS church service from me real soon. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna put man.
Put the link up. DM me when you do it, fam. DM me when you do it. I'm trying to take one more call and get out of here.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, fam.
Absolutely. God bless you. Y'all take care. Peace.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Yeah. All right, fam. Let me go on to one last. I'm gonna go to one last caller, fam, and then we're gonna call it a good evening. Who we got in here? I'm going to 860. What's your name? Where you calling from? What's on your mind?
Hello, good evening. Thank you for taking my call. I know I'm the last one, so I'm going to make it quick.
Okay.
So in regards, my name is Alicia Jenkins from Hartford, Connecticut.
Okay.
Dr. J on Twitter. So in regards to the Obama situation and the mayors coming together to focus on that protocol, my mayor was one of those mayors that you showed on one of his tweets, Mayor Luke Bronin.
Okay.
I just want to give a little history in regards to him.
Okay.
He used to work for the Obama administration. And when he was running for mayor in Hartford, around my senior year at Trinity College, Barack Obama himself came here to promote him. And when Governor Dan Malloy, was running for governor in the state of Connecticut, at the same time that Luke Bronin was running for mayor in Hartford, Connecticut, Obama came out here to promote both of their campaigns.
Okay.
So I find it really interesting that Luke Bronin was just real rah, rah, rah about it. And it's been going on within local news about what Luke Bronin is doing in regards to the police in the city of Hartford. And it's just been really scary here in Hartford.
Oh, wow.
Yes. So, and in regards to Obama and his initiatives that he has for the youth, he has his whole Obama thing, his Obama Youth Initiative or whatever. It's located in Chicago and in Hartford, Connecticut. And I remember when he came here with that, and this is after he left the office and Trump is the president. He came here to really promote this initiative to get kids who are in Hartford, who are Black and Puerto Rican, to do this initiative. And I was one of the few voices that was against it. I yelled. I have cussed out Mayor Bronin a few times in my 10 years of being here in Hartford. Yes, I've been to town halls and I've yelled at him and whatnot. But this one thing right here with him siding with Obama to get our youth to work for free, basically, it really, really upset me. So, good old state of Connecticut has a very, very intrinsic relationship with Obama, and it's one that it's really difficult to try to get Black folk, especially in the city of Hartford, to break away from, because everybody loves Luke Bronin. And the whole thing of voter suppression is real in Hartford. In regards to him running for mayor, like he would come and knock on your door, and then he would disappear, and 8,000 people would vote for him, and then he would win. He would campaign for like a few weeks or so. He'll knock on your door, vote for me, and then he'll go away. And then he rolls up his sleeves like Obama. He's short and white and scrawny, and he tries to sound like Obama. He tries to look like Obama because he has Obama money. He has Obama campaigning skills. He has Obama on him. So I just wanted to put that out there. And the city of Hartford is not burning up yet. But there's a lot of momentum here in Hartford. I was just on a call right before I came to listen to you tonight, talking to Black organizers and leaders and white allies, quote unquote, about what to do in the state of Connecticut because everybody's scared.
Okay.
So I pushed ADOS, I pushed reparations, I pushed Black Agenda, and I pushed vote down ballot. And everybody was like nervous, but I was like, listen, we're going to leave the top blank. We know Joe Biden's going to try to come here to Hartford, Connecticut because of Mayor Bronin being connected to Obama. We are not going to fall for that. We're going to vote down ballot, and we're going to advocate for reparations for Black Americans who descend from slavery and call it a day. So, again, I want to thank you again for the lessons you've taught me. And I threw books at people today, and I've thrown several books at Mayor Bronin as well. So, I'm not arrested, but I'm surprised they haven't thrown me in the river yet. But, I mean...
Don't get thrown in the river.
The Obama effect is very real here in good old Hartford, Connecticut. So, thank you.
Thank you, fam. Thank you for that. Thank you. I appreciate that, fam. Thank you so much, and I appreciate it too, fam. Because I don't know much about Hartford, so I appreciate that. Anytime somebody calls in here and gives me like an education into like where they're from and what the politics is there, I love to hear that, because where you are is different than where everybody else is, and what the challenges are. Yes, we're all a bottom caste, but that manifests differently in different areas and different cities. So it's imperative. I appreciate it anytime somebody calls and says, this is who he is, that person you just put up on the screen, that's who that person is in real life. I live it, I know it, I see it. So I appreciate that. Fam, that is the last call. If we did not get to you, I apologize. Don't forget that the third Thursday of this month, we will be having a only call-in show. So if you want to be a part of that, because I know a lot of people get left in the queue. So do not forget, please do not forget that the third Thursday is June the 18th. So do not forget that will be our all call-in show. And do not forget that on July the 30th, that is the last Thursday in July, we will be having the book discussion. So please pick up your book. If you did not get through to have a conversation, please plan to call in on that day. And please plan to be brief. We got through probably 30 calls, or at least 20 something last time we did one. And so some people want to do it every week. We're not going to do it every week, but we can do it once a month. It's sort of a mailbag kind of show. We can do that. Fam, hit the like button. Please hit that like button. If you have not subscribed to the channel, please subscribe to the channel. Just hit that little subscribe button. It costs you no monies. If you want to spend monies, if you want to donate, go to donatebrown.com or patreon.com/ycarnell. If you want to get a shirt, you go to adosmerch.com. What else? Subscribe to brown.com. Costs you nothing. Just add your name to the list. I've been sending out the email, the newsletter on Sundays for free during the pandemic. So, you know, people, COVID, riots, all that good stuff. Just in case you missed some news that you can look, news that you can use. So please, 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 please hit that bell. Oh, all of a sudden I got the hiccups. Please hit that bell if you have not hit the bell, so that you get notifications. Fam, just because we got all this stuff going on and everything, you know, crazy, don't mean you don't have to wear your mask. It don't mean you don't have to wash your hands. It doesn't mean none of that. Your nose, from what I keep understanding, the nose is the main place where the coronavirus enters. It don't mean you don't have to do what you got to do. So you still got to be diligent. You got to be diligent in the midst of racism and all that kind of stuff. It ain't fair, fam. It's not fair at all. But it is where we are. And ain't nothing we can do about it. So that's just what it is, fam. Please finish your libations. Be easy breezy. What you doing up so late? Be easy breezy and get you a good night's sleep. Rest. Don't be online 24/7 trying to monitor nothing or do nothing. Don't do nothing like that. And we will talk next time, fam. Until next time, though, take care of yourselves and be easy breezy.